Sold My Soul to Rock and Roll. What a great tune that is.
That kicked butt.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely in the rotation now on the Legend Show here.
Yep.
That's great, guys. That's great.
We had dead air now. That we're just all jamming that tune there. We don't know what to say now.
Dumbfounded.
So
dumbfounded is a good word for the trio that we have here. We are. Anyway. So listen, you've got gigs going on. You're doing that, and of course, so whenever you're writing now, have you noticed that your writing has changed since those early days, or where do you find inspiration to throw out those kick-ass lyrics?
I guess it's just street poetry in a lot of ways, but it's from your own experiences. I don't know where they come from. They just come, and it's just every song's personal, right? In one way or another. It's either it's not always like completely truly factual, but it's based on fact. All of these different songs, and when I was writing songs for the Judgment Day album, they just came. I don't know where they come from. You sort of having a coffee at the balcony, and all of a sudden it'll happen, and I'll just have to run inside and write them down. And but it's through experience, it's through your imagination of what you'd like life to be like, or what you hope it doesn't become, that kind of thing. So the passion's got to be there. I teach all of my musicians around the world the Dave Evans philosophy of performing, etc. It's called P, E, D, and C, and it's P for power, E for energy, D for dynamics, and C, conviction. It has to be real. So it's PEDC. All my boys know that.
PEDC, you got to sell it, and that high energy show that's part of it.
That's right.
And you kind of feed off of the crowd too when you're out there performing live. And do you like recording better? Do you like performing live better?
Well, both really. They're both different. Both totally different. Recording, it's amazing because you're creating this song, this sound, which is a wonderful thing to do. I love that so much. But live it's incredible. You can't explain it to anybody who hasn't done it, and it's an electricity. It's a metamorphosis too of yourself into your alter ego and that kind of thing. And just for me to see the smiles on faces everywhere, the whole crowd, just biggest grins, the biggest smiles. It's a privilege to be able to put smiles on people's faces all over the world. It's fantastic.
And you got the young people getting into it just as well as the older people too now, don't you?
Yeah, it's amazing because this kind of music's evergreen, and in Europe sometimes I've played there to 3 generations of the same family at the same show. I've had like the grandparents, like in their 50s, their kids, 30s sort of thing, 28, and their kids 18. So you've got 3 generations of the same family at the same show, all rocking to the same music. It's quite extraordinary.
It's changed a little bit since we were kids because our parents hated the music.
Boy, we'd never go out anywhere with our parents.
Oh, my
but
God.
even in Australia, at the moment, kids don't go out with their parents. They don't go to the at all with their parents anywhere like that. But in Europe, it's different. It's a different sort of scene over there. They're happy to go with their dads or their moms and rock out in Europe. So it's just pretty amazing.
Well, it's really kind of a shame now with all of the crap music that's out there, and this is one of my high horses I get on. We got all these great rockers like you, and then you talk about Dokken and Warrant and Scorpions and all the new music that they're putting out today. It's as good as it's ever been, but it doesn't get played anywhere except for very few places like 97.5 The Rock Zone Legend Show. So
yeah.
So keep chasing.
Yeah, that's it. Well, the thing is, it's great that you guys are still playing this kind of music. I know when I was up in Canada, it was amazing. Canada rocks, I'll tell you that. Everywhere I went, put on just about any radio show up there in Canada, and they were playing straight up stuff from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It was just incredible. I couldn't believe it. Different areas we go to, put on the local radio station, bang, there it was again. Classic rock, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I thought that was amazing, Canada. But yeah, look, the major labels here in America have completely ignored white rock or rock from any kind, really. Since the grunge years, from the 90s, there's been nothing really signed from the major labels. So you've got a lot of metal bands around, I suppose, who record themselves. They've got no recording experience. They've never worked with any great producers. The production makes all the difference with a song. You can get a pretty, a basic song, and if you get a great producer, they can make it into a great song, So a lot of people are recording their own music at home, or in the local garage, or whatever, or the local studio, try and do the best they can. They're not really getting the expertise from great producers. As I said, back when I started off, there was not many labels. You had to be damn good to get a record contract, and a lot of good bands never got signed because, unfortunately, there was only a certain amount of dollars with the record labels, only a certain amount of record labels. These days, anybody can record. Anybody, by the software, and there you go. So there might be a lot of albums out there. They all seem to get a good cover on the album. You can do that. You get a good graphic artist, and it can look great. But the contents of a lot of this stuff's pretty average because unfortunately, the musicians that put down the music weren't able to work with great producers or learn from the great producers as well. And I was lucky to work with some great people when I started, and that certainly helped me in the long run.
Well, it's crazy because, some of these classic bands are still filling arenas and filling stadiums and filling venues with 10, 15, 20,000 people, but you can't hear their new music anywhere on the radio. And I just don't understand.
Yeah, I know. That's a monopoly. Unfortunately, that's happened here in the United States. There's so much corruption in this country everywhere. And the same thing with the record labels. They'll buy radio stations and stuff. You probably know yourself. Play all their own stuff on there or payola. They'll make sure that their artists are played on stations. They've only got to, in Australia and Britain, payola is illegal. You go to jail for that. Here you can get away with just about anything, as you know. And all they've got to do is pay the payola once in America because all the other countries follow suit. So if you get a number 1 record or number 2 record here in the United States, Australia, Great Britain, France or whatever, they'll just play it. And you don't have to bribe them. So a lot of bribery goes on here, as you know, so it's corrupt. The rock bands are being ignored. So the ones that have got the great big fan base from years ago, well, they can still tap into that fan base. They're lucky. But new rock bands or new bands into rock, boy, I'd hate to be in their position here in the United States. I really would. A lot of talent here in the United States. But where are they going to go? Where do they get the expertise? Where do they get the support? Apart from like say guys like yourself, it's hard. There's more rock in Europe. Europe's still rock. Most of it, a lot of it's metal, but there's rock, rock bands in Europe, and I love working in Europe. It's great. I toured last year in Ukraine and Romania, and boy, they love their rock over there. They just go nuts. It's fantastic.
We got an up-and-coming band called Our Transfiction coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, and they're a brand new band, and hopefully they will hear your words and find some encouragement and some. I know they're listening out there tonight right now, so hopefully they'll be encouraged and find a way to find that niche and make it big.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Hey, Dave, I want to ask you a question real quick. Let's go back to the early days of AC/DC. We lost Bon Scott, and Brian Johnson came on board. Have you ever had a chance to rub elbows with him and swap some war stories and run into him any?
No, I've never caught up with Brian. He seems like a nice fella. Although I did do a show in his hometown in England, Newcastle in England. I was a little bit worried about doing the show there. I didn't know what kind of a reception I would get in Newcastle there in England. Geordie country it is. And they just went off. They went nuts over my music. And I got one of the best write-ups ever in the Geordie, the Newcastle newspaper. So I was very, very happy that Brian's hometown there really gave me a fantastic reception and a fantastic review. So that was wonderful.
So what do you do now? Again, we're talking Rock Zone Legends. We're hanging out with Dave Evans. We're going to wrap things up here in just a second. Dear God, we've had damn near an hour. I hope you don't mind just hanging out
That's
and
fine.
shooting the hay with us. As far as that's concerned, what do you do outside of music? What do you do to unwind? What's your hobbies? What makes you tick, man?
Well, I love to travel. I'm a great tourist. When I'm actually touring, I love touring. Being a tourist wherever I am. When I chill out, I like to. I really do like history. I'm a big, huge history buff, and a lot of times I'm working as well because I manage myself. I'm online all the time, talking to different newspapers, magazines, and radio stations, and the fans and all that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty quiet these days. When I'm not working, I like to relax because when I'm on tour, it's flat chat. It's just no time to myself. You're in a different city, different town every night, and sleep is a luxury, as it were. So when I'm at home, I just like to chill out and just smell the roses a bit and see friends and that kind of stuff.
All right, Dave Evans. Dave Evans is with us, the original lead singer of AC/DC. Great solo career with Rabbit and some other bands. We're going to play Judgment Day. You want to tell us a little bit about that song?
Yeah, Judgment Day. It really means live every day of your life to the best of your ability and enjoy it. The song says, "I ain't waiting around for Judgment Day." I'm not waiting around for Judgment Day. I'm living every day to the fullest and being very proactive and positive in life. And that's what it means, Judgment Day. So they ain't waiting around. They ain't waiting around for Judgment Day. Ain't gonna knock on the pearly gate. That's what it's all about. It's all about just enjoying yourself. Ain't waiting around for Judgment Day. So enjoy your lives.
Get out there.
Enjoy your lives and be the best person. Be the best you can be.
Here, here.
Get out there and do it. There you go. Dave Evans, we do appreciate you taking time on this evening to hang out with us and goof off on the radio. We do appreciate it here at the Rock Zone Legends, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, look, my pleasure. Nice to speak with Randy and Rotten Rod and Moose. Wonderful. And look, you guys are doing a fantastic job there at 97.5 The Rock. So just keep up the good work, okay?
Keep rocking, mate.
Keep rocking, and be sure to like Dave Evans on Facebook. You can find him on Facebook and keep up with his career and everything that he's doing.
There we go.
Judgment Day.
Here it is, 97.5 The Rock Zone Legends.